Mr. Drake, Mr. Drizzy is here once again, the Canadian love boy, the Canadian heartthrob. I don't know what I'm talking about. The Canadian rapper, singer, R&B artist, hip-hop artist, dancehall artist, whatever he's feeling at any given moment type of artist. He has been pretty prevalent in the world of music for about a decade now, possibly one of the biggest artists in the world. If you had to rank like the biggest selling artists and the most successful artists of our time, he's got to be like top 5, right? I mean, all of his albums sell ridiculously well in the first week. They do insane numbers. The streaming numbers tend to break records as well. You're talking like, you know, Taylor Swift and Adele kind of popularity. Although there's a weird thing with Drake where like you never really talk to anyone who's a fan of him, but yet he seems to have this huge pull. Maybe it's a UK thing. He still has successful songs in the UK, but I just never really come across anyone that says that they're an avid fan of his. It's one of those weird things. I don't know, maybe a UK-based thing, maybe in America that's a very different conversation. But another thing that's different between the cultures and the worlds of America and the UK is the genre of house music, and that is something that has been pretty prevalent over here and across Europe for a long time now. Not to say that it's not popular in America, but when you do converse with people, you do find out that actually house music doesn't really have that same popularity in America, but it seems as though that Drake wants to change that. Drake is here to change the world, to change the game. He gave us dancehall, now he's given us house. And in fairness to Drake, the fact that it was pitched as a house album got me interested. You may remember, if you're a subscriber of this channel, that I didn't actually touch on Certified Lover Boy, and that's because I don't care about Drake albums anymore. I don't want to sit through 90-minute albums when it's just basically the same song over and over again, and he's done it like 50 times on every album already. But to be fair, hearing that he was doing house, I was like, you know what? It's the first album in some time that's actually less than 1 hour, and it's something a bit different. He got me interested. Sadly though, the results don't really add up to a great deal of anything, honestly. It's kind of exactly what you would expect. If you're a Drake fan, you might be a bit surprised with what he's doing here, but if you are also a Drake fan, you might just be fun, you know, having fun with the vibes, because you obviously like his voice, you obviously like what he brings to the table lyrically, and those are two things that generally I don't really think is that good or interesting, to be honest. When it comes to Drake's music, his voice is often pretty dull and his lyrics are so uninteresting, and he just sounds like a basic bitch all the time moaning about girls. I just really wanted to like this though, you know. I'm such a champion of house music. I have been for quite a few years on this channel. I have some of the highest scoring albums since like 2019 have been house albums. I am a champion of it. You know, the only other review I can think of that might champion this genre as much as me is probably the Wonky Angle. You know, we absolutely adore this music. We live for this music. And I thought maybe, just maybe, Drake could bring something interesting to the table. But he did not. You've got Texts Go Green, which is just typical usual Drake shit from every metric you can measure it from, with the lyrics, the whininess in his voice, just the boring drab delivery that just feels like it goes on and on forever. Like there's just that kind of endless numbness with Drake's voice where it just feels like he's singing in the same tone for ages. And you look at the runtime of the song and it's like 3 minutes and you're like, there's no way this isn't 18 minutes. It's just a Drake effect, honestly. And I was like, yeah, cool, the beat's good, the sort of like minimal techno beat coming through, the minimal house, sort of like really soft, but you can still feel the subtlety coming through a bit. I was like, yeah, this sounds cool, but if there was someone else singing over this would have been a great song. Falling Back does not need that much falsetto. I'm saying it right now. And then when he kind of does that thing where he stops and then the beat kind of rides on, and then he's like, falling back. It's like, oh my God, he's still doing it. And I, again, was a fan of the like nocturnal, sort of like nighttime house beat as well. You know, again, it reminded me of some like, you know, Bandcamp artists that make this kind of like, you know, shivery, cold house music. And I'm always a fan of that kind of thing. So I was a fan of the beat, but Drake's voice just got on my nerves. Now, there's some moments actually that go a bit heavier with the beats. They're not just, you know, subtle, minimal techno stuff. You've got tracks like A Keeper, where the end of the song lifts up and the beat sounds great. And it lasts for 15 seconds. It lasts for 15 seconds, my friends. And then it transitions into the next song and the beat's gone. And it sounded like one of the best moments on the album, and it lasts for 15 seconds. You know, why prematurely do that to me? Calling My Name as well, that dutty beat comes through, the dutty beat comes through. And then what does Drake do? What does Drake do exactly? Your pussy is calling my name. Why? Why? It was like he was just there sort of going like, I could hear the beat coming, I need to drop something. And they're like, come on, just say anything, Drake. Just say something. Drake, just say something. Drake, just say something over this beat. It sounds good. Say something, please. And he's just there like, all right, okay. Your pussy is calling my name. Is that okay? It's just the most Drake thing in the world, man. Just Christ. These beats did not deserve Drake. These beats deserve someone better. Like, come on. I did think Sticky was a bit better. Lyrically, again, just not really a fan, but I kind of have to take what I can with Drake. I'm never really the biggest fan of his lyrics ever, on most albums, to be fair. But yeah, his presence is more lively here. He sounds a bit more awake. Honestly, most of these songs he sounds sleepy as fuck, but at least on this one I was like, yeah, okay, he's sounding like a bit more energized. A bit like the song, you know, Energy, that was on his If You're Reading This It's Too Late album, to be fair, or the mixtape or whatever. And then, you know what, the track after this, Massive, is probably the best track on the whole thing. This is the most in-your-face house slapper right here. It's not holding back at all with the beat. Some of the other tracks were quite minimal, you know, quite atmospheric and vibey sort of thing, sort of feeling, but this track really just went for it and was like some Jamie XX type shit. Seriously, I was so invested in this one. This is easily the best song, and honestly, if you're gonna go for a house leaning album, just go for it like this. Give us a proper full hip house experience, you know? He does not take advantage of these beats whatsoever. He could have done every song like this. It could have been an album that, you know, was rivaling other hip house albums from other years. I mean, I know she's not the most likable and I guess acceptable person with some of the things she's said and done. She's not exactly someone I'm gonna defend with all my heart, but Azealia Banks has given us some absolute raging bangers over the years. Like, some of her songs are excellent, and if he just tapped into more of that with songs like Massive and really went for it, we could have seen a completely different album. Because that's the thing, like, I'm all for this style of music. Like I say, house is my shit. Hip house, blending rap and house music together is also my shit. You know, I love me some Cakes to Killer. Trust me, he is a great artist, but Drake just is not doing it. He's doing it a total disservice, to be quite frank. Like, the thing is, he's so popular and he's so huge, his fans will eat up whatever he gives. But I kind of feel bad if this is the first time you've heard a rapper do an album like this. If this is your first house album. If this is your first house album, that is so sad. Like, it's an excellent genre of music, and Drake is just not doing it justice at all. Liability is just dire as hell. Those vocals are atrocious. I don't know what really made the producers decide to put that effect on his voice. It does not flatter him at all. His voice was already pretty boring throughout most of these songs. It did not need this. Flight's Book goes for a bit more of a deep house vibe, very, very UK based sort of leaning stuff here. It in fact actually starts sounding like it's slipping into a song that was really big in the UK over the past couple of years. Piece of Your Heart by Medusa. Like, I don't know if he's heard that song, but his vocals really start sounding like he's copying that melody, which, to be fair, Drake is the kind of guy that would just copy something else, to be honest. And that's kind of it with all of the house electronic leaning stuff. You finish on a trap song, which is a bit random, but to be fair, it's actually pretty good. It's got 21 Savage on it. I enjoy his verse. Drake sounds a bit more at home here. He sounds a bit more confident with his vocals compared to most of the other songs. It's actually quite a decent track, and I don't know why it's here, to be honest. It doesn't fit the album at all, but you know, for what it is, it's actually quite good, which is not something I can say about the whole album. This is pretty mediocre, honestly. It's just not exciting at all. This is not the way to do this style of music. If you're gonna go for it and, you know, give us some house type stuff, deep house, minimal techno, all that kind of stuff, just be a bit more interesting with your vocals. And Drake just often slips into his usual habits that I just find too boring. Hey, look, I gave it a chance. That's more than I can say for Certified Lover Boy. I didn't even listen to that at all. And as much as I'm not the biggest Drake fan, I'm not here just to hate on him for the sake of it. I wanted to like this album. I have already said throughout this review, I love the genres he is tapping into here. The styles of music he's tapping into are fantastic, and you should listen to more of it if you haven't. But Drake's approach to it, Drake's execution of it, is incredibly mediocre. 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching this review. Hopefully you enjoyed what I had to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would love to see what you think. I'll take Massive. I'll take that one. I think that's a good track. That's a good one to add to like playlists, you know, party dance playlists. I'll take that song, but everything else pretty much can go, to be honest. Thank you as always for watching. Do have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell me what I should review next, and goodbye.